What's happening, people? Today we have a masterclass in defending and tackling, and I've brought my friend, Ruben Dias. What's up, man?
Oh, good.
All good? Ready?
All good.
Let's do it. Okay, defending is a very difficult thing for all players, especially because attacking players have all the options, right? Creativity, they can use their speed, they have space, all this stuff. We want to give guys a good understanding of what they can do initially when the attacking player is about to get to you. What are you thinking about? How do you want to set yourself up? Let's start there.
Well, I think, first of all, you said basically the most important thing, which is the attacker has the power to be proactive. And everyone, their whole lives, they've listened to be proactive, don't be reactive. But the job of a defender sometimes is to work within that reaction of what's happening, because you're not really in control.
Sure.
Yes, there's a bit in which you can be proactive because you can make the opponent go into places you want him to go, and that's a key one. But many times, and if they're good enough, they will make you be in certain positions in which you're exposed, and then it's all about the feelings. It's all about the little details, and about how close you can be to them. Some guys you can't be close to them. But yeah, there's loads of details.
So, okay, then making it even more concrete now, if we set up here, we're a little bit outside of goal. If I'm the attacking player, right, and let's say I have an incredible left foot that is terrifying for you and you're a little nervous about it, what's gonna happen here? We're here, and if I have speed, right, and you're, let's say, the last man, how are you setting up and standing? Are you immediately gonna push me to the right? Or are you gonna push me this way? How should you stand? Give me a little bit of an understanding.
Well, even given the fact that you might be the best left foot in the world, and I know if you're gonna go there, you're gonna go and you're gonna finish.
Sure.
It depends on, I would say, many circumstances, just because it depends on if my team's gonna reach, if I make you wait long enough or not, or if I just
have to do something.
One-on-one know that I will be the only option to stop you. Even then, I'll try to gain time because it will make you stressed.
Yeah. How? How would you buy time?
So what do you want to do?
Backing up.
You want to go?
I want to go left.
If I go to you, I'm gonna make you decide fast.
Sure. Okay.
If I just close where you want to go, you have no option. You have to wait.
Sure.
What are you gonna do?
Okay. Yeah.
So buying time many times, it's the solution, because in a game of 11, people are arriving.
Sure.
Obviously then, sometimes you might go for a tackle, and that sometimes depends a lot on if you make a mistake. If you give a little touch that makes me reach it, if I can be close enough to, in the moment, I know you're gonna step up, I might try and block it, but for that I need to be close enough. And if you're fast, I'm not gonna allow you to be close enough, because then I will give you the edge you want.
Then what about knowing when to tackle and how to tackle? Are you using, I mean, if we come in here like this, are you just gonna poke a toe in because you're the last man? Or are you gonna use your body to get in?
Yeah, it depends. So I would say normal circumstances, you should never try and go on the ground.
Okay.
But that's like, don't go on the ground, because if you go on the ground, you better be sure that you win it.
Okay.
But it's a game of certainties and uncertainties, and sometimes you have to be sure of what you're doing, and sometimes yes, to go on the ground might be the best way to stop something. As a rule, if as much as you can stay up, and just take it out. But then it depends. So if you're coming at me and my left foot is here, if it's the closest thing I have, it's how I'm gonna tackle you. But maybe if I know you're gonna try and go there and run, and if I'm close enough, as close as I'm getting to you, I'll block you with my hand, and then.
I see. Okay.
It depends. It depends.
What about this creative aspect of the game? There are players with all this sort of the step overs and the stuff, and we get a lot of questions about the kids wondering, how do I deal with, I don't know, Neymar or whatever, pick a player, right? How do you deal with creative players or speedy players? Is there a different tactic in your head, or are you just simply, every situation, I've got a few understandings, I have to read it like this? Do you have? Yeah,
well, it always depends, especially when you play on the highest level. It always depends on, for me, a lot on the way you press, the kind of intervention you're actually having. But yeah, of course, when you're facing a 1v1, everything changes because it's a direct duel. And you need to know who you're playing against. Even, I don't know, more rarely now, because the more you've been in the game, the more you know names and you know everyone. But every now and then there's always a player you don't really know that well, and we always get kind of an info of what's his tendency. like left foot, right foot? Is he a winger that always comes inside? Is he a winger that comes inside, but sometimes careful, he can surprise you and go outside? Just to have an idea, because in the end, you can have players like Neymar, Mbappe's, Cristiano's, Messi's, that you never know what they're going to do because they can do it all. But still, you already have a feeling or a perception that, hang on, if he did that, it's because he's looking for that. And also, like in the game, everything's unpredictable because as you try and be proactive on what they might be doing, they're also very creative, and they know that if you're gonna do something, they're gonna try and do the one that they had in their pocket. But it depends. With the majority of them, when you can be close enough, you can have a kind of intervention.
I see.
When you've got your space and they've got the lead, then you need to also, like, first of all, make sure you gain time for the team to be positioned, and then maybe you can try and go on a 1v1 when you know, like, all right, they're in position, I can risk something.
Exactly. And last and final thing, what about those times when all is lost? You know, maybe you're in a worse position in all this. There's the professional foul that we all know exists. If you have to do it, you have to make that tackle. Maybe it's a grab, it's a reach, it's a this. How to know and how to understand the situation.
Well, I think
getting in trouble.
I think obviously there's a situation you're winning 1-0, 90 minutes, and there's a guy one-on-one with your keeper. Go for the red card. But I would say, normally you should never try and go for the red card, but because even if you can see the goal, sometimes the best way of your team trying to recover from it if you're on the pitch. And if you take that solution out, it's complicated. Obviously, last minutes you never know, and sometimes it might be helpful. You never know. But I guess, and let's not put that situation of a possible red card to avoid a goal that might give you a win if you're in the last minutes. But a normal situation, I would say, obviously depends on where you are on the pitch, and there are small faults that you can do before it's a scenario of a red card. And on those, it's complicated because it's just, and even the ones before, there are so many little things that in the end matter, and it's difficult to say it, to speak about it as a law, because every play is a different play. If you put me 20 different plays on a video, I'll tell you how you should do in all of them. But then to try and make a rule out of it, it's difficult because it depends on you, it depends on the opponent, depends on your teammates, depends on the ball, depends on so many things, depends on the pitch, on the weather, if the pitch is fast or not. So, but yeah, those situations about when you have to eventually make a tactical fault, I would say, there are ways and ways of doing it, and mostly the best you can maybe position yourself in order to do it, because sometimes you see players, they've just been overcome and they need to make a yellow, they need to grab. But before that, they could have positioned well and maybe make a fault that wouldn't be nothing at all. And I think that would be my...
In the last, maybe if you could, 20 seconds is the last question. All these guys are going to be wanting to know what they can do in order to get better. If I'm a defender, it's a position that's not necessarily glorified as much as, say, a striker and scoring goals. What would you say to a young player on how to improve as a defender? What could they do? What should I be focusing on? What should I train on? Just as a small few set of things.
Well, I'll give you, first of all, I'll give you my 101 from my dad. Since I was very, very young, which is the lesson of always looking at yourself first, other than others. Because if you go on the roller coaster of putting problems on other people, you will never really look at yourself, and you will never really learn or try to improve. And if I've got to, I've always owned my mistakes, and mistakes are part of football, and only by making them you will learn, and only by feeling how they feel, and it's not good, will you then be sharp enough and have the fear in your mind of like, no, this can't happen again. And it's a build-up of that, the learning. And other than that, I would say watch games. Watch games. Watch the best. Watch the best doing it, because obviously I might have certain kinds of qualities, other players might have others, but in the end, if you're trying to become one of the best, you need to drink a little bit of everyone's.
Yeah.
Because also then you need to see how the fast guy behaves and how the slow guy behaves, all those kind of details.
Right.
And then also I think for you to be a good defender, and talking about all the details from a 1v1 to a 2v1 to making the fault at the right time, I would say understand the game.
Right.
Understand the game, because, and especially as a defender, you said, it's not the most glorified position in terms of getting the attention that, for example, a striker receives if he gets a goal. But if you talk about importance, then that's another thing. And because of that, mainly, I say to you straight, you need to be one of the guys that most understands the game from the back midfield. You need to really know what you're doing, because you influence everything. And if a striker or a winger or an attacking midfielder, he doesn't really know what he's doing sometimes. He just needs that moment of brilliance to make his career. But you, if you want to be top, you need to know what you're doing all the time. Because they need one good action, you need one mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect words, my friends. You guys have work to do. Ruben, appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man.